Okay, time to get a bit mercenary right now. Let's talk money. One thing that I've always prided myself is to be a little bit ahead of the curve. It doesn't mean that I'm always right, but I'm slightly ahead of the curve and able to take advantage of situations when other people don't. Right now, Donald Trump is a massive underdog to win the elections. Specifically, some states he's now a huge underdog in that were striking distance. So let's take, for example, the state of Nevada. He is plus 300, according to many sports books, to win the state of Nevada. With the George Floyd revelations and the tape leak, which clearly shows a man who was high, who stated that he could not breathe before the arrest, before they knelt on his neck. Now you are going to have many people doubting the narrative that was portrayed by all the leftist media, and somehow this police cam footage was hidden all this time. I understand that you have a criminal investigation. You don't want to taint the jury pool. However, in the case of Phoenix, when they shot a man, they released the tape immediately to prevent the protesters from rioting because it cast doubt on the narrative that, of course, the leftist media was trying to portray, that the police killed somebody else who had a gun and was pointing it in their general direction or whatever took place there. The fact that they released the tape helped suppress the riots that would have otherwise ensued. The question that I have is, why were this tape, the George Floyd tape, held on to by Keith Ellison, by Minnesota? This would have gone a long way to stopping the riots from spreading, to stopping the riots originally. The BLM narrative in this case is that it was a racist act by Derek Chauvin and his fellow police officers, when in fact it almost certainly appears not to have been. There was no race involved in this. You have a man who was high, who was unresponsive to police demands, who said, please put me on the ground, take me out of the car, and said, I can't breathe, well before he was put on the ground. So this narrative of him not being able to breathe by virtue of the fact that Derek Chauvin had his knee on his neck was false. He couldn't breathe before that. Fentanyl almost definitely played a role. The officers are going to be acquitted of second-degree murder. I have another video coming up about Keith Ellison and his motives, but here we have the opportunity to make money, because right now the response of the public to these new revelations, which in my opinion are pretty big, are not reflected in the betting odds. And now you can get in on Trump to win states like Nevada or even Minnesota as big long shots, and you are going to see a swell away from the leftist propaganda. This is actually a fairly big deal. Even on subreddit, subreddit politics on Reddit, you have people fighting back. Of course, you still have the same leftists that are pushing the same BS narrative. Oh yeah, well maybe he had some fentanyl in the system, but that doesn't excuse the fact that he had a knee on his neck. No, it really doesn't, but it definitely did contribute to his death. And the cops should be absolved of the crime of racism in the public's eye once you see this video. This man would have been treated the same way, whether he was yellow, white, purple, I don't care what color he is, he would have likely received the same exact treatment. The narrative that BLM and the leftist agenda are pushing will be fought back. You cannot continually riot for 65 days at the time without turning people against you, without people looking for law and order. That's going to be Donald Trump. Everybody knows Joe Biden will just encourage these riots. This Alzheimer man who, unfortunately, that's the case. I actually kind of like Biden, despite the fact that he sniffs little girls and it's a little bit creepy. Maybe I shouldn't like him. I don't know. But I don't think he's a bad dude. I really don't. But having Kamala Harris as your VP pick, that's who I have the chance of voting for, because we all know that Biden's stepping down a year and a half into the presidency. He just is not going to make it all 4 years. So you're really voting for his VP. Look, I'm just saying that the sentiment is going to shift, and this election is almost certainly going to Donald Trump. I believe that some of the states that he's a long shot in are well worth taking a flyer on. If you can give plus 300 odds, in other words, you're going to triple your money on a bet, it's well worth taking. So you bet 100 at plus 300, for example, in the state of Nevada, you're going to end up with $400. So a 300% return on your money. So that's just my suggestion. This, again, is not a guarantee. It's just that the odds would dictate that there's asymmetrical upside in this, and I don't believe that the odds are reflective of public sentiment, which is rapidly going to change. And this release of this video is not even that small. I actually think that it's fairly large. So just my recommendation, and again, this is about being able to predict the future, and I just want to leave all my watchers just a little bit better off. So again, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to win. There's a lot that can happen between now and the election. I just don't think that the odds currently reflect the sentiment. And as more people bear witness to this tape, and I'm leaving a link in the bottom in the description, the odds make it well worth taking a flyer on Donald Trump to win some states. Peace and blessings. Give this video a thumbs up. Let me know what you guys do in the comment section and your thoughts on my thoughts. Peace out, everybody. Have a fantastic day.